What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Captain Trucker. Welcome back to Sugar Beach. Appreciate you all tuning in. So, for the last many years, I've been split between two worlds, man. I've been living in the Philippines as well as the US. I've driven hundreds of thousands of miles across America. I've built a house in the Philippines province. I have a son now who's almost 8 years old. And for the last many years, I've been split between these two worlds. And I always find myself working towards retirement and working towards this and that. And I'm starting to realize that this is it. Like, this is life, man. We're constantly in motion. I'm constantly in motion, whether I'm driving the truck or playing drums or lifting weights or swimming or running or traveling. I'm constantly moving, man. And it's the journey. It's part of it. I think we have a mentality of, I need to be set somewhere, right? We need to build a house and retire and whatever. But I think part of this expat journey is just constant traveling. So much of our identity is tied to our home countries, wherever we may be from. It's very true. So we see a lot of people, a lot of Americans and Europeans, they have all this national pride, and that's a big part of people's identity, and it's understandable. Part of the expat journey is learning to strip away from your identity and kind of like starting over. It's kind of a refresh, right? You kind of find out what your nature really is when you come to developing countries like the Philippines. You kind of find out what kind of man you really are. I always used to say, you can tell a lot by a man by what he does when he gets his first pile of money in life, and how he treats locals in a developing country. You can tell a lot about a person, right? There's nothing wrong with the West, and there's nothing wrong with capitalism and our colonial mindsets that we carry with us throughout the world. We tend to have these, I don't know, what do you call it? Very duality type of thinking. One's good, one's bad. What's better, the Philippines or the US? It's just all different, man. It's all about finding out who you are and just being good to people. Otherwise, what's the point? I mean, when I first started this channel, I was like, I'm probably younger than most expats now, in my early 40s, but I started coming to the Philippines in my 30s. And I had I sort of had the dream, if you will, earlier on in life. I'm not sure what it was. I always just wanted to get out. I think in America, we're conditioned to never leave. We're taught that we live in the greatest country on earth. We're encouraged to work and to, grow. And there's certainly opportunities in America. That's very true. But more and more, I feel like the middle class is just trapped, or at least they're trapped in the consumer lifestyle. And many Americans can't afford to travel. They can't afford to take long holidays, and they never really get out. And I think for a lot of men, especially if they don't have families, is that when you're in your late 30s, early 40s, if you can maybe not buy into the system and not go into debt, buy a house you can't afford or whatever, you're in a perfect position for expat life. A perfect position to really stretch your finances for the rest of your life. So you don't have to be stuck at work, so you don't have to be stuck in the constant work life debt cycle. It's a horrible way to live. But anyway, when I first started the channel, I guess because I was one of the younger expats, maybe I was more idealistic, right? And I think on some level, maybe I felt subconsciously resentful because I guess I was just starting out and I was poor and I had, my son, and I had to work really hard, and I saw stuff happening around me in the country, and I saw the way, vloggers were promoting the Philippines, and kind of a lot of the stereotypes about living like a king and, getting a young woman and, that kind of stuff. It kind of used to grind my gears more, and I don't really talk about those subjects as much anymore, but there's still legitimate concerns in the future, because the Philippines is kind of like the hidden gem, in my opinion, for us Americans, that we don't really know about, or I think due to propaganda and from the past, you know, this country's been painted in a negative light to the West, like developing countries. And so you often hear like negative stories, but more and more there's an agenda by whoever it may be, the powers that may be. I don't want to say the, but I just mean groups of really rich businessmen combined with Western politicians that, for whatever reason, there's going to be an agenda towards like more of a one world situation in the future, if you will. And I think that like in the vlogging world, what we're seeing is, unbeknownst to them, is they're becoming pawns in attracting more and more and more foreigners to this country, which obviously, you know, for many Filipinos, they look at that as a positive thing because the GDP can boost their GDP, tourism and so forth. I think right now it's in the 9-11% area. Don't quote me on that. But, you know, with like digital colonialism, or what I call neo-social media colonialism, there is going to be potential, you know, problematic issues with that, right? I mean, if there's millions and millions of Americans suddenly in the Philippines, if they're really calling it like the 51st state, quote unquote, you know, the country could change, obviously. It could be problematic for the locals. It could change. I'm filming, son. Hold on. Go in the hammock. There's a hammock back there. Like these are kind of legitimate issues that affect us all, really. And I guess it's something I used to talk about in my vlogs. And as I've gone on, I guess maybe because, you know, I'm aging or getting more mature and all that, and I see this in other retirees, like, I think when you reach certain thresholds in life, you just stop caring less, or you stop, you're maybe less idealistic and less opinionated, and you sort of just, you know, take things as they come. And it makes sense in retirement. I get that. I really do. Because at that point in life, like, you're tired, man. You don't want to fight battles, and you don't want to work anymore, and you just kind of want to live a simple life. And you know, the Philippines is obviously a very good place to do that for a lot of people. But you know, there's people that carry a lot of baggage with them when they retire. They have the wrong expectations of these places. So anyway, that's just, you know, some of the stuff that I've learned in my time here. But yeah, man, I'm constantly moving. And I used to get like, not sad, but you know, like leaving the Philippines and going back to work. And these days, I think, you know, more and more I'm in a better position financially and all that. So it's good to be in a place to where like most of the money that you make from your income is like profit, right? And, you know, through minimalism and frugality and geo-arbitrage and building a house for this little guy right here, I've been able to save a substantial amount of money and make good investments, and I'm continuing to do so. So now, you know, in my 40s, it's like all the money I make is worth X amount more in the future. And so that's one reason why I'm really pushing it hard in the coming years, because I want to have a good life in the future. I don't want to be stressed about money. And you know, it's nice to be in a position to where work is an option. Wouldn't you agree, Zach? Thank you, son. Anyway, we're at the beach here, so I just wanted to give you all an update.
We're ready to leave.
Yeah, we're gonna leave. I'm here in Sapale. I just left Sugar Beach, and I gotta say, man, I really enjoyed the beach this time. And there's so many islands to explore in the Philippines. Over 7,000, in fact. Some of them are uninhibited, or wait, no, uninhabited, excuse me. But anyway, lots of places to go, man. You could probably spend a lifetime trying to travel this country. And yes, yet us expats and tourists, we tend to be creatures of habit, as we all are as people, right? We kind of stay in our own sections and lanes and subdivisions and cities and whatnot that we tend to visit. It's kind of hard to, like with kids, like especially when they're young, to travel everywhere. So as my son gets older, I'm going to try to venture out more. But yeah, I like, you know, Negros Occidental. I think it's a great island. I think Bacolod's a great city, and I also think Sapale is a great city. I really do. Highly underrated. Although I have been to Dumaguete before. Dumaguete's cool. I got a good vibe there. However, these sort of undiscovered gems like Sapale, in my opinion, Maybe more people will flock here in the future, who knows? For now, I guess it's just me and a few other foreigners. No, I'm just joking. There's got to be a lot of people here. I just haven't met them, but not as massive of an influx as other places, right? So there you go. I'm in public filming, so I'm trying not to like really film people per se. So kind of just circling here in the little area by the van I'm going to. Yeah, people, life's what you make it. The Philippines can be heaven on earth, and it can also be hell on earth. It's usually determined by your mindset and who you get involved with when you come over here. So it's all relative, man. People have different experiences. I like to experience life in all sorts of different angles. Anyway, it's Captain Trucker. I love you all. Please comment. Thanks for continuing to share this journey with us. We're searching for truth and peace and love and all that good stuff. The human experience, why we're all here together. All right, share your comments and your thoughts. Peace.